Now available in paperback and coming to Kindle Unlimited. John Haynes, Dark Succubus. The man who rules the world is tempted by a sultry succubus in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Dark Succubus in paperback or pre-order on Kindle Unlimited today. It's an election year, and the white leftists are trotting out every black mammy and minstrel in an effort to persuade the black masses to go out here and vote for Joe Biden. And whether it be your Sean P. Diddy Combs, your agent Ava DuVernay, or any other black celebrity, it seems like the left is getting all of the slaves off of the plantation and getting them out here to get the word out to all of the black masses that they need to go out here and vote, and they need to go out here and vote for their candidate because the other candidate is allegedly the bad guy. Now, the latest black celebrity they have trotted out here to talk about voting is your comedian Katt Williams. And your comedian Katt Williams came out here and made a 6-minute video on Instagram where he was sponsored by Supreme Clothing, wearing his hair in a multicolored SJW hairstyle, a white t-shirt, and a buckwheat style looking suit and sneakers to come out here and urge people to vote and support Black Lives Matter. And while he was doing this, also decided to talk about Donald Trump and COVID-19. Now, when I take a critical examination of your Katt Williams, he's just another tool being used by the white supremacists on the left in order to manipulate the black masses. Because the white supremacists on the left believe that if they get enough black celebrities out here to represent their position, these celebrities will have such prominence and influence on the black mind that these black people will go out here and vote the way they want. But most black people these days are no longer listening to celebrities, and the reason why they aren't listening to these celebrities is because they see that many of these celebrities are a part of the problem, because many of these celebrities have not wanted to support the black community or care about the black community. And many, like your Katt Williams, clearly show how disconnected they are once you start listening to the things that they say. Now, during this 6-minute rant, your Katt Williams, as he was attacking Donald Trump, wanted to talk about how we have a clown in the White House. Now, I find that to be quite ironic that he's talking about Donald Trump being a clown in the White House while he's sitting there with his hair braided up in a multicolored hairstyle, looking like one of these female SJWs who is oftentimes seen screaming about whatever issues are out there. So here you have an emasculated, effeminized black man standing in front of us talking about a clown, ironically not seeing how he's looking like a clown right in front of us. Now, I am no fan of Donald Trump, and I've always said he is not qualified to be the President of the United States, but this is the man that we the people picked in 2016, and he is the person that we the people chose to be the leader of the United States. So when your Katt Williams says we have a perfectly suitable clown running the free world, he also doesn't understand that it was we the people who picked the clown. So if you're going to call Donald Trump a clown, you have to understand there were people who chose Donald Trump, and those people, he's calling those people clowns as well, because he doesn't understand the president is a reflection of we the people. So when you look at Donald Trump, you have to look at the American people who picked this man. And a lot of the American people, they don't want to say, hey, this is the president we chose, and this is the man we picked. And in addition to sitting there and talking about the president is a clown, you had your Katt Williams going out here and talking about COVID-19 and making a lot of analogies that really didn't fit. I mean, it just didn't really make sense to me. I mean, he sat there and tried to compare the COVID-19 pandemic to AIDS, but if you look at the approach to COVID-19 and AIDS, there were two different approaches. I mean, we didn't have governors shutting down the entire United States economy in order to combat AIDS back in the 1980s. No, we had governors who let the economy continue to run, understanding that we needed tax revenue in order to be able to combat and fight the disease. Because without businesses running that to make money so that people can pay taxes, there's no revenue coming in order to pay for things like hospitals. So he's sitting there talking about how on Hart Island there were all of these bodies from AIDS, that all the deaths of AIDS, and it was a straw man argument he was proposing because, again, while we had a lot of deaths from AIDS and HIV in the 1980s because AIDS was basically a death sentence, we didn't escalate things and make it worse by shutting down our entire economy in order to fight the AIDS pandemic. I mean, that's what he was trying to say was, oh, it's an AIDS pandemic, but we didn't shut down our entire economy. And also, he was trying to say that this had something to do with Donald Trump, but no, this didn't have anything to do with Donald Trump. This was the advice your President Trump was given by Dr. Anthony Fauci, and this was the advice that Dr. Fauci gave to many of the 50 state governors who were out there, and 49 of those 50 governors, the governor of South Dakota, refused to follow this. And if we look at the governor of South Dakota, her state is the only one that is functioning right now because she refused to follow the shelter-in-place orders and practically collapse the economies all across the state. So your Katt Williams, he comes in here with a straw man argument, trying to talk about how COVID-19 and AIDS were similar, but the approaches were completely different. As somebody who grew up during the AIDS epidemic of the 80s and knew how bad it was, because with AIDS back in the day, if you had sexual relations with somebody who had AIDS or HIV, it was a death sentence. And yes, a lot of people died on Hart Island, but the way he was talking about it took it completely out of context, because the approach we used for COVID-19 did far more damage to America than the approach we used for AIDS and HIV. Because in addition to the deaths from COVID-19, we also had a lot of suicides. We had a lot of people getting on drugs. We had a lot of people becoming involved in domestic violence situations. And we may possibly have a homeless crisis, all due to the botched approach to trying to fight this virus. Again, not just President Trump being the one who made these decisions, but also the 50 state governors, 49 of them made these decisions that exacerbated how bad things got and led to half the country being out of work, half the country being in a desperate situation as related to these evictions, and half the country having to deal with increasing crime rates in major cities. The whole thing is, your Katt Williams really didn't understand the subject he was talking about, and that really showed later on as he started, after talking about this COVID-19 and then trying to attack Donald Trump, then starting to talk about the whole idea of supporting Black Lives Matter. Now, when he started to talk about supporting Black Lives Matter, that's when I knew your Katt Williams was nothing more than a leftist shill tap dancing for his slave masters. Because, as everybody knows, Black Lives Matter was the one who actually didn't really help anything as related to the murder of George Floyd. Your Black Lives Matter was an opportunistic organization which only decided to capitalize on the murder of George Floyd, the same way this organization established itself by opportunistically capitalizing on the death of Trayvon Martin. And it seems like every time Black Lives Matter is out here, they only come out when a black man dies, and then they step over his casket to push their own agenda, which isn't about trying to get justice for black men. It is about trying to push dysfunctional agendas in the black community, like single motherhood, and it is also about trying to push the alphabet community and these social justice narratives. And that's one of the things your Katt Williams doesn't understand about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter isn't about trying to show the value of black life. It is about pushing agendas that are about promoting the alphabet agenda and promoting single motherhood in black communities. So it is not about showing how Black Lives Matter, because your Black Lives Matter, whenever a black person kills another black person, we don't see Black Lives Matter coming out here to march and protest for black people who are shot by Pookie and Ray Ray. Because if Black Lives Matter really wanted to show the value of black life, Black Lives Matter would be out here talking about marching and protesting for the black people who were killed by black people, and they would be out here marching and protesting against the Planned Parenthoods that are littered in black communities disproportionately, and where black babies are aborted on the regular. Because if your Black Lives Matter really cared about black life, it would be about something about comprehensively fighting against issues as related to black children being murdered, because we've had a 1-year-old here in New York murdered by gang members. We've had, I think, another 3-year-old who was shot and killed playing in her frozen house. And we had a black man walking with his daughter who was shot in the street by black gang members. But we didn't see Black Lives Matter coming out for those murders. No, the only time these women who are a part of Black Lives Matter show up is when a black man is killed by a white police officer, a white suburban commando, or some non-black beta male, and they only show up because they can use that black man's corpse as a stepping stone to further pushing their ideological agenda. And I find it sad that your Katt Williams, a black man, is going to sit there and talk about Black Lives Matter, not understanding that Black Lives Matter wouldn't pee on him if he was on fire. Because when it comes down to Black Lives Matter, if you've read their website, Black Lives Matter does not support heterosexual black men. It does not promote anything to protect heterosexual black men. And it does not try to do anything to show the value of a black man's life outside of him being killed by a police officer or one of these white race soldiers or one of these white suburban commandos. They don't want to talk about trying to teach black boys and black men conflict resolution, critical thinking, how to diffuse a conflicting situation with another black man, or problem solving. No, it's all about promoting single motherhood and a welfare state in the black community for Black Lives Matter. And to see a black man like your Katt Williams sitting here and promoting Black Lives Matter like it's an organization that is actually doing something positive in the black community shows me how completely out of touch your Katt Williams is as related to black issues. And it shows me why celebrities should not be talking about our issues, because your black celebrities, all they want to do is parrot whatever their white slave masters tell them to. And your slave, Katt Williams, wearing his master's clothes, the supreme clothing, all he was doing was parroting what his slave masters were telling him to say, and they were doing everything that they wanted him to say in this, talking about we need to support Black Lives Matter. Well, Black Lives Matter does not support black men. It does not support black men coming back to their communities. It does not support black men being fathers in the home. It does not support black men being heads of their households. It does not support anything that will help improve the quality of life in the black community. And your Katt Williams, when he was on here, came across as one of the worst shills for the left in this 6-minute video, telling everybody that basically what his slave masters wanted him to say, and basically looking like a puppet for his slave masters, not thinking black people can think for themselves. And this is what's the most thing that angers me the most about your Katt Williams and many of these black celebrities like Ava DuVernay and Cardi B. These people think that they can just be out here and think that the black masses out here like myself are so stupid that we're going to just go along with whatever they're saying because they're celebrities. Well, no, I'm not going to go along with everything you say as a celebrity. And we know what you are. We know that you're a paid corporate slave, and we know that you're just doing whatever your slave masters on the Hollywood plantation are telling you to do. And we know that you're nobody we need to take seriously, because we don't hear anything from you talking about tangibles in exchange for our votes. All we hear is we need to go out here and vote for Joe Biden because Donald Trump is such a bad guy. Well, that argument doesn't wash anymore, and the whole Donald Trump is so bad argument, it doesn't wash because you're not bringing anything of substance to the table. We don't hear anything about tangibles in exchange for the black vote. I mean, Hispanics get things for their vote. The alphabet community gets things for their vote. Asians get things in exchange for their vote. White females get things in exchange for their vote. But black people are just told to go out here and vote for whoever is on the left side's ticket just because they're here. And I'm sorry, more black people are no longer allowing their vote to be taken for granted, especially by a political party that expresses contempt for black voters, especially black male voters, like your Katt Williams, who is completely clueless about that vice presidential pick and how it is an expression of contempt for the black man. You want us to go out here and vote based on just your say-so, but you bring nothing tangible to the table, and you express nothing but contempt as related to any sort of effort to bring tangibles to black people. Everybody else can get tangibles for their vote, but the black man can't get any tangibles for his vote. And I find it very insulting that your Katt Williams comes out here dressed like a clown and then talks about Donald Trump, but he doesn't see how he's being made into a clown and a shill for these leftists, and these leftists are sitting there making him out to be a clown just for them, and they think that if we get enough black celebrities to come out here and say, go vote, people will go out here and vote. But black people are now starting to wise up to the game and saying, we're not voting unless there's tangibles, and unless we see some tangibles and support for a black agenda, we have no reason to come out of our houses and vote for a candidate who talks about change and was a part of the platform of hope and change that brought no change to black people. So these celebrities, they think that it's 1992 and it's the time of Bill Clinton and Arsenio on the Arsenio Hall show, and that time is over with. That time is finished, and unless you're talking about tangibles, you don't have any reason to tell me to go out here and vote for anyone, because it's up to these candidates to come to the table with some tangibles in exchange for that black vote. Now, this video is not being monetized, so I'm asking everybody to head over to the Cash App and click in the link in the description box and donate to the Cash App so that I can continue making more videos. And if you want to also help out, you can pick up one of my SJS Direct publications on Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.